And good evening, my family. Good evening to everybody out there. Happy Thursday. One day closer to Friday, almost to the weekend. I don't know how excited you are for the weekend if you live up here in the Northeast. We got this storm coming, but nonetheless, happy Thursday and hope you guys have a good weekend going forward. What is happening? I've said it once, I'll say it again. The NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. Man, without question, without question, with the exception of my birds winning the Super Bowl a few years ago, that Kansas City Buffalo game was the best game I have ever seen in my life, in my opinion. If someone would have wrote a script for a new football movie, Friday Night Lights 4, whatever, and the way that game ended would have been scripted, I would have told somebody to ball that stuff up, throw it away, and try again because that doesn't happen. You don't score 25 points in like, what was it, 4 minutes, I think it was? It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That had to be, that was some of the most compelling football I've ever seen in my life. Josh Allen was on point. Patrick Mahomes continues to do what Patrick Mahomes does. It was incredible. I've never seen anything like that. Never. I've seen quarterbacks come back, drive down the field and less than a minute to go, the whole scenario. But I've never seen somebody do it, the other team do it, and then the other team do it again. Like you can't do that on Madden. That's how crazy that was, man. That was, oh my God, the best game I've ever seen in my life. I can't think of another game other than the Super Bowl when the Eagles won, because the Super Bowl won on a last play. Now, I remember as a kid, the last time the Bengals were in the Super Bowl and we lost to Montana on that final drive with like, I think it was a minute and a half to go. And even as a kid, and how everything is blown up and hyped up, you know how it is when you see things through a kid's eyes. Everything is bigger, everything is grander. So even that game and what I remember from it at that time doesn't hold a candle to what happened last weekend. It just doesn't. Man, that was crazy. That was crazy. What's up, Mike? I see you in the chat, brother. It was off the chain, man. All the games were good. All of them. Last minute games. Cincinnati over Tennessee. Had me worried for a bit. Had me sweating a little bit. But that was crazy. Vince, Pats versus Falcons. That was a good one. That was a good one. I would go for a Super Bowl other than ours. I would go when the Rams beat the Titans and the Rams stopped the Titans like 3 inches from the goal line. That was crazy. We'll get into that a little bit more because that's a good segue. I'm a little early, but that team, my guest tonight, was on that team and got a Super Bowl ring from that team. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But man, but Pats versus Falcons, that was a good one. Falcons coming back, or no, the Patriots. I believe that was when Patriots were down like 4 touchdowns or something like that. Brian Daly, yo, what's good, man? That was a weekend of football, my friend. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Frank Vespi, what's up, brother? Appreciate your help, man. Let me shout you out right now. Appreciate you. But yeah, Brian, man, that was, man, you had to have a bottle of Gatorade for that one. It just never stopped, never stopped, never stopped, never stopped. And then we go into this week, and now you got all the hires and fires and all kind of stuff. Coaching changes, who's going to go where. Sean Payton steps down. I didn't see that coming. Did not see that coming. Charles Thomas, I agree. Hey, what's up, Pop? That's my dad. Did not see Sean Payton leaving, retiring. That one kind of caught me off guard. I heard rumors, but I didn't put any stock into it. I kind of think that Payton's going to take a couple years off. And then I believe that Sean Payton eventually will wind up with the Cowboys. That's what I think. That's my humble opinion. So we'll see. Because I know Jerry Jones wants him. And if the Cowboys have another year next year, like it ended this year, definitely it's going to be some people on the chopping block. I was surprised that Jerry Jones kept McCarthy because McCarthy has a history of bad clock management. And when you have a team, because you know how us birds don't really like the Cowboys. Let's keep it real. But the Cowboys have a good team. Well, the Cowboys have a good defense. I will be surprised if all of the teams drafting defense this year are not trying to find the next Micah Parsons. So that's what you're going to be looking at. I believe that's what's going to be the focus this year going into the draft when all of the combine stuff comes and everything. Pete Evans, what's good, man? I believe that's what's going to be the focus this year. Everybody's going to be looking for those linebackers, those hybrid linebackers, 220, 235-ish, and they're looking for linebackers that can run under 4.5. Micah Parsons was running like high 4.3s, but if you're a linebacker and you're running under 4.4, that is ridiculous. Me as a running back, my best 40 time was a 4.4. So now you got a 230-pound linebacker that's as fast as me. That's crazy. That's crazy. But that's what they're looking for. Everybody wants the next guy. They're looking. I know they're looking at what's his name? What's the guy from Georgia? Nakobe Dean. That's his name. Probably butchered his first name, but that kid from Georgia. If the Eagles have a chance to grab him, and we don't grab him, it's going to be a lot of people with the crosshairs for Howie. Not that we don't already have a lot of Philly fans like that. So it'll be interesting. I'm very interested to see which way the Eagles are going to go in the draft this year. It's going to be normally most teams are very, very quiet strategically for what they're looking for. And, and then you'll get the Mel Kipers and Schefter and all of these people on the social media and ESPN and all that kind of stuff with these draft grades and all that kind of stuff. And I guarantee you there's going to be some kid that nobody was looking at, nobody was paying attention to, and he's going to shoot up the draft, shoot up the charts because he just does an insane workout. It's going to do something like, well, where does this kid come from? And that's, in my opinion, that's part of the reason why Jalen Reagor got drafted so high. I don't think he had a particularly outstanding combine camp. He didn't have a bad one, not by any stretch. But I believe at the camp, he ran like a mid to high 4.4. I want to say 4.45, 4.48, something like that. But there was a video that popped up because I remember looking at it after we drafted him. And I was like, okay, this kid's got some jets. There was a video probably at one of his pro days, and he ran like a legit low 4.2. And both the guys, showed the clock and they did all of that kind of stuff. So I don't think that those guys that did the video were from his school or had any type of affiliation. So at least in my mind, they got a lot of credibility. But I'm just saying that that's probably one of the reasons why he got a lot of publicity towards the draft. Why the Eagles picked the Eagles weren't the only team looking at Jalen Reagor. There was other teams looking at him. I don't think the other teams may have got him that high. I don't know. But we did, and he ain't panning out. So he better do something. So the clock is already on him. And the first pass he drops next year, they're going to kill him. Eagles fans are going to kill him. But I'll say it again. I think I said this last week. I don't believe that Jalen Hurts is going to start next year. I believe there's going to be he'll either be cut. I don't think so because they don't want to pay him that money. Or unless they make some type of deal to come off some of the money, they'll pay him off. And then somebody will pick him up as a free agent. He did play, and he does have some skill. So I can see somebody picking him up. But I think it'll be some veteran that'll come in, or some free agent will come in, or it'll be some hungry rookie that'll come in and do some damage. And he'll be on the bench. So not even doing special teams. He'll be on the bench because it'll be Sirianni's got to get to the point where he's like, you're not good enough for us right now. Maybe you will be, but we got somebody that's producing now. And Sirianni's going to have to make those decisions. So, but like I said, we're going to look for somebody. There's going to be we're not going to look for him, but there's going to be somebody who's going to shoot up the combine charts because of his workout. I was looking back at, if you go back and you look at Mitch Trubisky hasn't really done much in the league. He's not I don't know. He's not that good. But Mitch Trubisky started 1 year at North Carolina. One. He wasn't lighting it up at all. But he had a phenomenal combine workout, and he shot up the depth chart. He shot up who was this kid out of North Carolina? And then they find of course, and half of the hype is the first thing they'll do is the ESPN research department finds all of the highlights, and now he's everywhere. Now he's everywhere. Everybody's looking at him, and all you see is those touchdowns and everything he's throwing. And the one thing I learned, I used to do, I'm a graphic design guy. So back in the day, I used to have a side hustle where I would make, before the internet was, before YouTube was really YouTube, right? I used to make highlight tapes for high school athletes trying to get into college. I would make them a DVD or whatever, and they would send them out to scouts and stuff like that. But I would always remember, scouts don't want to see all your touchdowns. They don't want to see a highlight tape of all your best plays. Scouts really want to see what you do away from the play when you don't have the ball, when things aren't going your way. Do you have poise? Can you keep your team together? All of that kind of stuff. That's what scouts want to see. They don't just want to see you dunking on everybody every play down the court. They don't want to see a 50-yard bomb every play. They want to see what you can do during the minutia of a game and how you handle yourself. When the clock's ticking, Dallas, when the clock's ticking, how do you handle yourself? How do you get your team together? Are you chasing the team, or is the team following you? Are you a good leader on the field, a good field general? All of that kind of stuff that they praise Jalen Hurts for. But Jalen Hurts falls short with some of the physical traits. And rightfully so. Those are fair criticisms. But just because you got a cannon arm, can you lead your team to victory? Two totally different things. So I'll be the first one to tell you, combines are overrated. Combines are overrated. I'm going to go and do some homework for next week. And I want to look at all of and I know there's got to be a chart somewhere where I can pull this information from. All of the high draft picks, first and second round draft picks, The big money guys. The big money guys. All of those guys, out of all of those people that were drafted, how many of them really produced? How many of them really produced? Vince, Mike Mamula's combine workout shot him up the draft. Yes, it did. Mike Mamula is a good friend of mine. I'm working on getting him on the show. But Mike had a decent career. What's up, Greg? Mike had a decent career. Mike was, in my opinion, unfairly maligned because, every year he didn't have 12 sacks and all that kind of stuff. But that's what comes with being a top draft pick. Derek Barnett. That's what comes with being a high draft pick. If you don't live up to that expectation, people are going to crush you. Jalen Reagor. People are going to crush you. Too much is given, much is required. You got to put it down on the field. Jake, what up, Marcus? I agree with the poll. The Chiefs are coming off a big emotional game, and Joe Burrow has been Joe Cool the whole postseason. I agree. I make no secret. I do like Kansas City because I like Andy Ried, but best believe I'm supporting the crib. Who they all day. Yes, I bleed green, but I was born in the jungle. Don't get it twisted. I saw Joe Montana break my heart twice. Once with Kenny Anderson, I believe, and the other one was with Boomer. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm so happy for home that we got a legit team that's going to make some noise and can definitely win this game. I do think that Kansas City might have a crash off that emotional win. But the reality is the Cincinnati game was an emotional win as well. That went down to the wire. But I don't think the Cincinnati game was as high and as heart-pounding as the Kansas City game. That was crazy. So we'll see what's going on, and we'll see how they play. I'm hoping they have a letdown. I want to see Cincinnati at the big dance. I want to see it. That is the storybook that we've been looking for, that every team looks for. And we got it. Cincinnati has it. You got a top quarterback that's from home. You got a hometown kid as your quarterback, and he takes you to the Super Bowl? Come on, man. We got to make that happen. I want to see that. Definitely want to see that. Greg, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. You think that evens out after a couple days? You go back to your schedule, go back into the week. Tuesday you have off. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, your normal schedule. But stuff like that has a way of that. I don't know. That emotion just has a way of carrying over until the next one. And it is very, very difficult to maintain that level of emotion for a long period of time. Very hard to do. So, Charles, what's up, dude? What's good with you? So, it's going to be very interesting this weekend, and I'm hoping that Cincinnati can capitalize off of that. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase have been putting it down. Jamar Chase, that kid's got a gear. That kid's got a gear. Kansas City's got Tyreek Hill. I never thought that I would see somebody that had wheels and overall was a better football player than Dante Hall. If you're young, look him up. Just type in YouTube Dante Hall highlights. Never thought I would see somebody else quite like that. Tyreek Hill is just as fast, maybe faster, bigger, like they were both small players, but Dante Hall was kind of he was a light scat receiver. He wasn't thick. Tyreek Hill's got a little thickness on him, and he just got acceleration that is ridiculous. So, and that kid, he's a hybrid. You can put him at running back, you can put him at receiver, you can hide him. He's small enough where you can hide him for screens, all that kind of stuff. He's just dangerous. He's just dangerous. So, Joe Mixon ain't no slouch. But he don't have wheels like Tyreek Hill. Jamar Chase does. Jamar Chase has a whole nother gear, but he doesn't have the quickness like Tyreek Hill, though. That's why Tyreek Hill is so dangerous. So we're going to see what happens. San Francisco, Jimmy G. Man, y'all keep doubting him, but he's still producing. I didn't think Dallas was going to lose that game, and they lost that game, and Jimmy G tried to give it away. But they found a way to win. Case closed. So it's going to be an excellent game. I'm looking forward to it. And I want to see my Bengals in the Super Bowl, man. I want to see it. But let's get down to some business. My guest for tonight is a friend of mine named Ron Carpenter. We went to high school together, Preston High School out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Put your hand over your heart every time you say that name. The best high school this side of the Milky Way galaxy. You don't believe me? I'll fight you for it. But Ron played with the Bengals, played with the Vikings, played with the Jets, and played with the Rams. Ron won a Super Bowl in Super Bowl 34, the greatest show on turf, with Dick Vermeil and the Rams. Also, I didn't realize this until after we talked. We recorded this on, what's up, Murph? Who they? Go Bengals. I see you. I didn't connect the dots with Ron until after we recorded our conversation. Ron went to Miami of Ohio, but Ron was on the coaching staff when Brandon Brooks was at Miami of Ohio. So he coached Brandon Brooks. So, small world, man. So, what I want to do is let you hear the conversation between me and Ron. He was gracious enough to come on Monday night. He's very busy, but I was like, dude, when can you do it? We can record whenever. So we jumped on late Monday night and we got some things done. So here is that conversation. Stay busy in the chats. I'll still be in the chats. And then after the conversation is done, I'm going to jump back on and we're going to wrap it up. So stay in the chats and we're going to keep it moving. So hold tight. All right, what's going on, gang? Welcome to Pro Fan Talk. I got a guest with me today. Got my homeboy, Ron Carpenter. Me and Ron grew up together in Cincinnati, Ohio. We went to the best high school this side of the Milky Way galaxy, Princeton High School.
Represent.
Put your name over your heart every time you say it, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. We had the 12th best high school football team in the country back in 1987. We wasn't no joke.
No joke. We did it.
And Ron went up to Miami of Ohio. I went down to Eastern Kentucky, and we put our things down. And
that's right.
We ended up, making it to the top 1% of our class, making it to the show.
That's right.
But the reason I got Ron here is because Ron played for the Bengals and he played for the Rams. More specifically with the Rams, when that year they had the greatest show on turf with Dick Vermeil and everything that was going on then. So Ron, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about, how you got to where you were, even with the Bengals and going to the Rams. Start there.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you having me on the show. Proud of you, everything that you're doing. So yeah, man, after high school, walked on at Miami of Ohio. And within that first year was crazy, just being a walk-on, being treated like a walk-on, not necessarily being able to contribute to the team. But thankfully, Terry Hepner, who was my defensive backs coach, who later on coached Ben Roethlisberger at Miami, he was a defensive back coach. And he said, hey, they're not going to use you as wide receiver. I walked on as a wide receiver. He said, but I could use somebody else in the chamber for safety because I got a senior who's graduating. I don't have anybody else. He said, if you come over here, I'll teach you everything I know, and we see what happens. You might be able to earn a scholarship. And it worked out. Spring ball freshman year, I became the starter and started 4 years after that and made it to the league. So that was a great opportunity to show what I had. And, I had a little chip on my shoulder, so I wanted to prove some things. Coming from a great high school football team like Princeton Vikings and 12th in the country and all that stuff. So that worked out, and I made it to the NFL. My second team was the Cincinnati Bengals. I was a free agent to the Minnesota Vikings, and then my second team was the Bengals. And it was a great opportunity to play for the hometown team. From the age of 6, my dad had me watching the Cincinnati Bengals, so I bleed Cincinnati Bengal orange, and it was we weren't very good. Rich Kotite was our head coach, and David Klingler was our starting quarterback, and that was a very tumultuous season. But I loved it because I was playing for the hometown team. You know what I mean? We didn't sniff the playoffs, but that pride was there. That pride is still there. After the Bengals, I ended up going to the Jets for 2 years, and then I finally ended up with the Rams. Dick Vermeil's second year, and then his third year.
Greatest show on turf.
Greatest show on turf, man. It was right place, right time, man. We had a group of rookies that came in: Tony Horn, Oz Hakeem.
Yep. I remember him.
Orlando Pace was healthy. The Indianapolis Colts gave us Marshall Faulk in the trade. Yep. Adam Timmerman, I believe. He was another free agent pickup. And then we just had a bunch of guys. And unfortunately, Trent Green got hurt. And everybody knows the story. Kurt Warner stepped in and didn't miss a beat. He was tortured on the scout team by the then offensive coordinator Mike Martz, and that put that fearlessness in him because he caught it every day at practice. I mean, he lit into that guy every day, whether he was doing it right or wrong, and that toughened him up and got him ready for the season. So we got going, and once we beat our nemesis, the San Francisco 49ers, I think it was like the third game of the season or the fourth game, something like that. Yeah. We knew we had something special because they had beaten us probably 12 years in a row. I mean, we hadn't beaten them in forever, so we knew we had something once we beat them.
Now, one thing we were talking about here in Philadelphia, obviously we got booted 2 weeks ago. Jalen Hurts, first year as a starter, basically a rookie as far as the playoffs goes, and we got dusted. It wasn't. They beat our brains in, booted me. It wasn't even pretty.
I watched it.
Yeah, man. But one of the things we talked about was, like everybody talks about, when you get into the playoffs, you kick it to another level. Yeah. I always look at it differently. Is the game is the game. It's a little bit more hype to it, but at the end of the day, when you step on that field, it's still 100 yards long.
That's right.
But when you're in the playoffs, the margin for error is just super, super small. You cannot make the mistakes. The team that makes the least amount of mistakes is usually the team that wins.
That's right.
So
that's right.
What was your experience going through that run with the Rams and going all the way to the top, and even just the craziness that is the playoffs, and then eventually getting to the Super Bowl and winning it all?
Yeah. So when it came to the playoffs, our first game, we got the first round bye. So it was kind of cool to sit home and watch the first week of the playoffs, the wild card. And then once we realized who we were going to play, which was the Minnesota Vikings, that was a little something special for me because I played for the Vikings my rookie year, and all those guys were still on the team. So I had a little something to prove because I was let go by the Vikings. So that was my personal build up to the hype. Like you said, man, everything's turned up a level. We knew we were good, but we also knew the Vikings were good, and we knew we couldn't go in there. We couldn't have turnovers. We couldn't let them down on special teams. Everybody had to do their part. Everybody paid closer attention the 2 weeks prior to the Super Bowl, as far as breaking down film study, knowing what you were doing. I was a special team standout, backup safety, and I knew the snap count at the long snap, from the long snapper to the punter. I knew how long it took them because we were that detailed in what we were doing. My special teams coordinator, Coach Gans, he always used to say we were going to pay painstaking attention to detail, and that's what we did. We did it the whole season, but we turned it up a notch when it came time for the playoffs, and it paid off. We beat the Vikings, and it really paid off the second week in the NFC Championship game, because we were going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who had straight dogs on the defensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? So again, it was all about paying attention to detail when it came to the week of practice, making sure that we knew game plan, personnel, whole nine. Some people think playing football is just all fun. It's a job, and you got to go in there and take that job seriously, and study the game plan the same way you studied if you went to college, or if you were in high school and you were trying to make your way to college. It was that serious. So all the video game playing got cut down tremendously, because we were watching videotape getting ready for those games.
For sure.
And like the Super Bowl, once we got to the Super Bowl, we knew we had a great chance to win the whole thing. It elevated things because it was a Super Bowl. We kind of, some people call it a blessing. Some say it was just terrible weather, but that's when Atlanta had that snowstorm, the ice storm.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So the majority of the outside events got canceled. So we didn't have a whole lot to distract us. So it was just more. Right. It was more just staying in the hotel, more film study. Didn't really see our families a whole lot. They were there, but we all just took the opportunity and said, look, man, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Let's stay locked in. And that's what we did. I mean, we came out for media day, and that was it. We went to practice. We practiced at the Falcons facility. There were no crowds up there. Nobody was allowed to watch us practice, and we went back to the hotel. And that's all we did, man. We were so locked in, and I'm sure the Titans were too. But that's all we did. There was no kidding around, no playing around. It was a business trip, and that's how we treated it.
Right, that's right. Y'all played the Titans, and that was the 3-yard short game, right?
Yeah. It wasn't even 3 yards. It was more like 2 inches. So
that was crazy.
But yeah, that was crazy. It was a great game, and it we moved the ball up and down the field on them throughout the whole first half, but we just couldn't punch it in once we got in the red zone. And then they made us pay for it because they caught up. They had a furious comeback at the end of the game, and thankfully Mike Jones and our defense held up. Mike Jones made a great play. He knew exactly what was going to happen once. I think it was Dyson came in motion. He knew he was coming inside, and he was able to jump all over.
Right. Hey, preparation. Preparation is what it's all about, man. There are probably some famous stories out there about Vermeil, because the word was Vermeil could be extra. He had that reputation around here because he cut his teeth here in Philly, so we knew him very well. But what was your experience with him?
My experience with Vermeil, we thought we were going to get the tyrant from Philly, and in the first year, his first 2 years, there was a couple training camp revolts because he was kind of treating it like it was back in the 80s when he was coaching there. 3-a-day practices and full contact all the time, and things had changed by then. So had a conversation as a team with him. Captains went to him, and he heard us. He listened to us, and he said one of the main reasons why he was able to listen this time is because he did some self growth and talked to some therapists and things like that, because he would fly off the handle a lot in Philly. He stopped doing that when he came to St. Louis, and he listened to us more. And he got so in touch with himself that he would cry at the drop of a hat. and when it happened, we were like, what's going on? But what we realized was he appreciated the opportunity to be back in the NFL. He loved his players, and I'm sure he loved his players in Philly as well. But he was more in tune with who he was and who he needed to be to captain a team. And with that, to this day, if he says the name Kurt Warner, Mike Jones, Trent Green, or Marshall Faulk, or Isaac Bruce, within 3 seconds, he's gonna get choked up. So we love the guy. We would run through a wall for him. To this day, when I see him, you know, I was a backup safety, mainly a special teams guy, and every time I see him at different functions, hey, Ronnie Carpenter, what's going on? You know, he remembers me, and that shows that he, you know, it didn't matter if you were the superstar on the team or the special team standout. He was going to remember who his players were, and that's what I love about the guy.
Right, and that's what you need. We talked a couple of weeks ago about how you build relationships. We talk about Nick Sirianni building a relationship in the locker room, and when you don't deal with people, you deal with personality.
That's right. That's right.
When you can connect in the right way, you still have to limit that. But when you can connect the right way, people will run through the wall for you.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I see a lot of coaches really don't have the balance. They're either the tyrant, like you said, or they can be your best friend. But there's got to be somewhere in the middle where they can kind of bridge the best of both worlds. But still, if I got to let you go, I got to let you go.
That's right.
It's not
that's
right. Personal, it's just business. And that's the thing. Right. We're looking at Sirianni right now. Like, can he be that dude to make that happen? Because I don't know if you've been paying attention with Jalen Reagor and some of these other guys. It ain't looking good. And it's like, even though you made that draft pick, he's not producing. Do you have what it takes to separate the personal and say, this is business? I love you, but we got to let you go. Good luck to you. And that's the one thing we're waiting to see from Sirianni coming up.
Yeah, that's key. And, you know, Vermeil, every coach that I've been with, except for maybe when I was with the Bengals and maybe with the Jets. But the other two teams, the Vikings and the Bengals, the Vikings and the Rams, Denny Green with the Vikings, of course, Vermeil with the Rams. Those guys, they were player coaches. You know what I mean? We loved them, but they also commanded respect. There was a line drawn. It was almost like talking to your big uncle or your grandfather when it came to those guys. You weren't disrespectful. Unfortunately, those two other teams I was with, it was some guys that didn't have that respect for the coaching staff. And it came out in meetings and blow-ups on the sidelines. With the Rams, we didn't have a whole lot of adversity, but we had some. But it was never any disrespect shown towards the coaches. There was never a time where one person was trying to take all the glory. Marshall Faulk deferred to Kurt Warner. Kurt deferred to the O-line. The O-line deferred to the receivers. Nobody was ever about me. And that is the greatest. That's the best atmosphere I'd ever been in. Only one other time had I been in that type of atmosphere, and that's when we were in high school with the Princeton Vikings. Because we had so many great players on the team. It was never about me. We were all on one accord. Right. So
Mancuso had us on lock. So
exactly. And we had a healthy fear for Pat Mancuso.
Absolutely.
But we would also run through a wall for Pat Mancuso. And that's how I felt. That's how I felt about Dick Vermeil.
Absolutely. People, I don't think, unless you've been through this situation, I don't think people appreciate that, because I was never, well, I can't even say that, because I was in Camp Coughlin down in Jacksonville. And that was a hot mess. And
yes, sir.
Same thing. We had veterans complaining, like, listen, I'm too old for this. Same thing, 2-a-days, pounding both practices, full goal.
Right.
You know, 12 on 12, like 11 on 11, all that kind of stuff, man. Like it was crazy. And then we had that, I don't know if you remember, that first year when we was in the World League, we had that crazy coach Kuharich. That was making us do all of that stuff. We doing live cut drills with our linebackers and all of that kind of stuff. Same thing. And I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you heard about this, when the reason why he got fired was because he tried to have a meeting. He tried to have a coaches meeting and intentionally didn't tell Doug Williams.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And Doug was the liaison to get some more views. And Doug was like, I'm out of here. It's like, anybody gonna treat me like this? So Doug was out. They came in and they got rid of Kuharich. I thought they were going to let Doug be the head coach, but they ended up deciding on Coach Kreiner. But same thing, man. You get the blow-ups, you get them egos, and it takes a special kind of somebody to be able to deal with all of that and still be the coach of the team and do what they got to do, man. It is Belichick can't do it. Belichick is good on one side, but not necessarily good on the other.
Absolutely.
Sirianni is that guy that he relates to everybody. Doug Peterson was kind of like that too.
Yeah.
He can relate and deal with everybody. Now we got to see if he can do the other side and be able to put that firm hand down. It's like, listen, you're not getting it done. So you either gonna get it done or we gonna promote you to fan. So you know what you want to do. So
no doubt. So
we'll see how it is, but I know you were watching the games, man. I gotta say, dude, super happy for our Bengals finally being relevant. Being relevant after being the Bungles for so long and all of that mess. But man, that Kansas City and Buffalo game, that is, with the exception of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl 3 years ago or 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
That was the best game I've ever seen in my life.
Everyone who I've talked to today has said the same thing. Not only was it, so it was the best divisional round in history, I believe, for all four games.
Agreed.
So the best divisional round. But as far as the game, that game last night, it was the best and it was the worst. And when I say that, the reason I say that was it was exciting. 25 points in however many minutes it was.
Like 4.5 minutes or something like that. Crazy.
But then at the same time, you're like, what are we doing on defense? Like who's not playing defense right now? Like why are these people, these wide receivers so wide open? What's going on? So it was exciting. It was fun. Everybody's talking about it. It was very interesting to see those two quarterbacks. Allen is a great quarterback. If you didn't think he was, you know he is now. And then your guy with the Chiefs, Mahomes, everybody knows he's been great forever. So some people said we watched the Super Bowl this past weekend because they're saying those are the two best, most exciting teams. So we'll see.
I would agree. And what I'm kind of hoping is that Kansas City, after that super emotional high, gonna have a crash, and they're gonna have a crash against the Bengals.
That's right.
That's right. Only because, man, Mahomes he owns some Madden stuff, man. He a video game dude.
Him and what's the name? Tyreek Hill? Yeah, ridiculous.
Listen, I never thought I would see another player like Dante Hall. Because we used to call the Dante Hall was the joystick. Remember the joystick?
That's right.
Tyreek Hill is on another level.
Yeah, he's on a different level than that guy. Yeah,
that dude is so fast, it's not even funny, man.
He ran away from the defense and then waved at homeboy as he stepped into the end zone.
I
so
thought
embarrassing.
They was going to try to I don't know if you knew it, but I believe he's one of the big reasons why they were doing why they put the taunting rule in. Yeah, when he was scoring a touchdown and he was throwing up the peace sign.
Yeah, no doubt.
They didn't want that. He's not the only reason, but that was a big reason they put that taunting rule in. So I was hoping that they didn't flag him. Be like, yeah, man, it's Josh Allen was he had you couldn't have scripted that.
No, not at all.
If you would have wrote that in a made-for-TV movie, you'd be like it don't happen like that, man. Come on.
Yeah. That's 13 seconds. You get in position to score in 13 seconds. That's crazy.
Oh my God. Crazy. The good thing about it up here in Philly is because we can't stand the Cowboys, but I've seen all these memes that saying Patrick Mahomes took the Chiefs down and scored in 13 seconds, and Dak Prescott couldn't do it in the 16. They killed him, man. They killed him.
Yeah, I tell you what, somebody's been asking me all day. Hopefully the Bengals and the Rams make it to the Super Bowl, and they keep saying, "Who are you going to root for?" And I keep telling everybody, I won the Super Bowl with the Rams, but that Bengal orange and black runs through my blood. So I got the Bengals. I got the Bengals all day.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I don't know if you saw my post where I was like, I bleed green, but I was born in the jungle.
That's right.
We ain't going to deal with the 49. Hopefully we don't have to deal with the 49ers again because both times we lost
to the 49ers.
Joe Montana, man. It was so
that would be poetic justice though. I mean, if we ended up getting the 49ers and then beat them, that's 2 Super Bowls worth of revenge right there. So I'll take it.
Absolutely, man. And one thing about the Bengals, man, I'm so glad that they finally got it right. Because I remember you had a little bit of talk coming out of Cincinnati. They weren't sure if they was going to get Joe Burrow. And I was like, you got a hometown kid.
Right.
That's the best pick in the draft. Wow.
Right.
That should be a slam dunk.
Absolutely.
But they made the right decision.
That's right.
He's he's panned out, because so many times that don't happen. So many times that you get that top pick and it doesn't. It's not what you think it is.
Yeah, he's got ice in his veins. He's cooler than the other side of the pillow, and he's got an arm. And him and Chase, they're gonna do the thing. Him, Chase, Boyd, all of them. They're gonna get. I'm looking for him to get it done.
Chase has got another gear.
Right.
He's got another gear. He's got acceleration like we saw here with Deshaun Jackson, in my opinion.
That's right.
He might not be as fast, but when I saw him catch that slant, and go through the middle and just outrun, that reminded me of when Marshall Faulk did it.
Yeah, no doubt. And he doesn't look like he's running. Somebody's fast. You know somebody's fast when they can't catch him, and he doesn't look like he's straining to run. So absolutely. No doubt.
It was crazy, man. It's now, one thing we talked about is when you see your teams and stuff like that, all of the off the field stuff. You were saying when you guys went to the Super Bowl, how locked in you were. What's some of the off the field stuff that you guys had to deal with going into that week?
Well, we had to deal with tickets. Number one, everybody and their grandmother wanted tickets to get down to Atlanta to get into the game. Yep. My uncle actually showed up without a ticket, thinking I was going to be able to find him one. I told him I couldn't, but he came anyway. So he just watched at a sports bar. So tickets, your family being down there, our families rolled down on the plane with us. But then once we got off the plane, they got on one bus, we got on another bus, and we didn't really see them again. That was, what I mean? So wondering what your family is doing. And, they had activities for the families and all that. Some other off the field stuff. Had it not been for the ice, there would have been more opportunity for guys to skip curfews, and do stuff like that. Now you do have appearances, and there were still some inside appearances that you have to do, and you really don't necessarily want to do them because all you want to do is get ready for the game, but you have to go do them. So you have times throughout the week, throughout the day after practice, where you have to go make appearances here and there, and we still did some of that. Not everything didn't shut down. They just really shut down all the outdoor stuff, right? Because the highways were just treacherous. It was just a sheet of ice. So you were either down in downtown Atlanta and you stayed there for the majority of the day, or you were out where we were a little bit further out and you were stuck out there. And it wasn't much you could do until the ice started to thaw out. So, but those things. And then once you do have a little bit of downtime, what are you going to do? You're not with your family. You're not doing appearances. What do? Well, we sat around and watched movies, bro. We stayed in our room. Me and my roommate, I ain't gonna ever forget. I think my roommate was Dexter McCleon, I believe, another DB. But we watched The Exorcist. Now, that's funny because I had started watching The Exorcist when I was young, but I never could make it past like the first 15 minutes because I was too afraid as a little boy. Right. So I told my roommate, I said, "Hey man, we're gonna watch this." I said, "But if you leave the room, dude, I'm turning this off." So we watched The Exorcist all the way through, and then we picked a couple other movies. But we just hung out, man. Everybody stayed away from the bar downstairs. Fans were at the hotel in the lobby trying to get up past security and all that. So you got to deal with all that stuff. But they did a good job. They've got security on every floor. They got security on the main floor. You can't, without a pass or being a player, you can't get up there. Family members weren't even allowed upstairs. Right. Wives weren't allowed upstairs. If you saw your family, you went to their hotel for a brief time and hollered at them. So they do a good job of ice.
I bet it was a couple attitudes because of that. Okay, no wives come up there.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But they did a good job of isolating us and making sure we stay locked in, and that's the key. You can't let it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, so you can't let distractions get to you, because if you're thinking about anything else other than the football game, you're done. Honestly, I told my wife and my mom and my sisters and them that were there, I said, the day before the game will be the last time y'all talk to me until after the game. I'm not talking to anybody the morning of. So that night when I go to bed, I'm going to say good night, and I'll see y'all after we win the Super Bowl. And I didn't even see them at the stadium. The bus took the whole family back to the hotel, and we saw them all once we walked into the ballroom to celebrate the Super Bowl win. Right. So that we didn't even see. I mean, I thought I saw the section they were sitting in and waved, but we didn't see them again until we got back to the hotel. Right.
This is a different world, the way they do things right now, especially when you got cameras everywhere, you got social media and a lot more other things that they want to deal with and try to promote. So, even that's a different world, man. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
man, you made it to that. You made it to the tippy top, dude, with that ring. I meant to ask you to get your ring so you can put it in the camera because I did that last time.
Yeah.
I talked to my boy Jim Ballard a couple weeks ago because he was our quarterback the year we won in the World League.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but he coached Nick Sirianni in he went to Mount Union, same school.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he coached Sirianni in the Arena League.
Okay.
So he's
small world.
He was very familiar with him. So we talked about that for a minute, man. So when we did that episode, I had my my World League ring on, and I was, did one of those in the camera. So,
I feel you. I got my XFL championship ring here, but the Super Bowl ring is in the Natty. I left it in the Natty with Mom.
Got you. I got you. Yo, speaking of the XFL, man, I always tell this story when that last year when I left Scotland, because I remember I called you and told you all the stuff that was going on in Scotland. Because I remember after we played y'all, you was like, "What happened? You hurt?" You was like, "We've been watching film on you all week. What happened?" So after all of that, and we had gotten back, I remember we was on the phone. I had parked in a Barnes and Noble parking lot, and you told me to download the XFL application.
Yep.
And I remember you was like, "Dude, they paying good.
Yeah.
You need to go ahead and do it." And I remember after I got off the phone with you, I got on the phone with Kathy, and she was like, "If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it." And I think at that time I had such a bad experience with Scotland and then everything that happened in the CFL. I was like, man, I don't feel like doing it no more. Like it wasn't fun no more.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. And once that happens, that's when, like my last year playing, it's funny. It was the season right before Sherry passed away, my first wife, and that last year I got banged up I got a sternum bruise, ankle injuries, and I just kept getting hurt. I was like, man, this shit ain't fun no more. Excuse my French. And then I ended up coming back home, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. And that was it. Like I knew my body told me, it's time to stop, and that's when I stopped. So, you kind of get an idea when the love is gone and when it's more of a job than having fun.
Absolutely,
that it's probably time to step away.
Absolutely, when it gets to the point you're not enjoying it, time to roll.
No doubt. Man. So no doubt.
But all right, homie, man, I really appreciate you coming on with me, man. I definitely want to get you back on Super Bowl week.
Okay.
So we can talk about that, man. But I had a blast, man. I appreciate you, brother. I love you. And
no doubt.
We'll definitely hook up again, bro.
Okay, love you too, bro. Great job. Right, proud of you.
Thank you, brother. Talk to you later.
All right. Peace.
And we're back. We're back live. Man, it was so good to talk to my homie. So good to talk to him, man. And just to be able to have those experiences when I remember when we had won the World League. So I remember I was over there, and this was back, you get young, dumb, and stupid. I guess it ain't stupid, but I used to wear my World Bowl ring everywhere. And I remember I went over to his house after he won the Super Bowl, and he was showing me the trophy and everything. And we had our rings like next to each other. And as fat as my World Bowl ring is, dwarfed by that Super Bowl ring. Like, this is the real deal. So I remember that. But Ron's been doing some cool stuff. We didn't really get a chance to talk about a lot of stuff, or he didn't go into it when he was with the Vikings, because I believe the Vikings was where he was first. So I'm catching some heat because he's not talking about the Vikings enough. So you know who you are, giving me problems. But Ron's a good dude. I'm definitely going to try to get him back Super Bowl week. Him and hopefully another one of my former teammates from Eastern Kentucky, a guy named Myron Guyton. Myron Guyton won a Super Bowl with the Giants. I forget what Super Bowl it was. I'll find that out later. But I'm trying to get him for the Super Bowl week. I want to get some guys that have actually been to that game because it is a mess. It is a mess. And you remember Ron mentioned about tickets. The ticket thing when you are at the Super Bowl is unreal. Unreal. Most people don't realize if you are on a team, on a roster, the NFL gives you tickets. I believe I forget how much they cost us. They were very, very, very cheap for players. So one of the vets had told us that like whatever you do, don't sell your tickets. Just hold on to them, don't sell them. And we were like, okay. And what happens is the vets will go around to all of the rookies and they say, hey, you going to the game? I didn't plan on it or whatever. Let me buy your tickets from you. So I think the tickets cost us like, I want to say, I think it was like $250 for 2 tickets or something like that. It was ridiculously cheap for a Super Bowl ticket. So the vets, they're offering $800, $1,000 for our tickets. So people weren't paying attention, and it was like, okay, and if you weren't going to make the trip, no big deal. Get off the money, sell them to the vets. But what ended up happening was my twin sister Melanie, she lives down in Atlanta. So I went down to Atlanta, and I didn't plan on going to the game. I kind of wish I would have gone just to have that experience of being at the game, but it was no big deal. I didn't go to the game, and I was going to sell my tickets. And wherever the Super Bowl is being held, when you're in the city, get the local paper. You open up the paper, and the middle of the paper's got all of the ads. You got about 6 pages, both sides full. We'll buy tickets. We'll buy tickets. We'll buy tickets. Top dollar paid. Top dollar paid. Cash only. We'll buy tickets. You had about 4 or 6 pages of nothing but people asking and looking for Super Bowl tickets. So I went through and found a ad that looked somewhat legit, called the number. Some guy picks up the phone, and he was like, absolutely. I believe I got like $2,800 for tickets, for 2 tickets. And it was like, where do you want to meet? Do you want to go someplace private? He was like, whatever you want to do, I'll meet you. And I think we ended up, because I was still a little sketched out about it because I didn't know. So I think I ended up meeting him in the lobby of a hotel. And he was like, great, a lot of people around. So I went to some hotel downtown Atlanta and met this guy. He met me in the lobby. We walked over to a place behind the bar, sat down, and he gave me an envelope. I counted it. We shook hands, and he was like, thank you very much. And he went on about his way. And I walked out with like about $2,800. So those tickets are something special. So it's a lot that goes on in that. A lot that goes on in that. So the production and all of the stuff that goes on away from the game. One thing Ron mentioned was all of the distractions that you have to deal with now. And even now with social media and all of that kind of stuff, it's a lot worse. It's a lot worse. So crazy stuff to think about. The one thing he did mention, I was kind of going to get into it a little bit, talking about Brandon Brooks' retirement from the Eagles. Brandon Brooks, this is his 10th year in the league. Brandon Brooks is 32 years old. 32. That's not very old. And when you see that, it's becoming a common theme now. Players are retiring from the league younger and younger, obviously because of injury and CTE. And Brandon Brooks, we had him for 6 years, and he was phenomenal. But he had some torn pec. He blew both his Achilles tendons. That's rough. That's a lot of damage. A lot of damage. I was lucky in my 5 or 6 years in the pros, plus my whole career through Little League and high school and college, never broke a bone, never tore anything. I'm a running back, so I had sprains and stuff like that, but never anything major. So I was always lucky, knock wood and all of that kind of stuff. So I understand why a lot of these players are retiring early when their body gets beat up. And he's in the trenches. He's a big boy, so he's delivering a lot of damage, but you take that punishment every play. If I'm a running back, I don't get the ball every play. I'm not getting slammed every play. They just don't do that anymore. When I was in college, maybe, because I go in college and I'm getting, anywhere between 12 to 30 carries a game. But in the pros, with everybody running these highfalutin offenses, pass happy offenses, running backs don't get that much love like we did back in the day. So an offensive lineman, you smash in every play, you pound in every play with somebody that is as big or bigger than you are. So the irresistible force against the immovable object, every play. And them boys are bringing it. So for somebody like that to shut it down at only 32 years old, and then you look at Jace Phillips, who am I thinking of? The bodyguard from the Eagles. Why am I blanking? But you look at him and all of the injuries that he's had. You look at Jason Kelce. To be able to be an offensive lineman, to have that longevity at that position is incredible. I'm hoping that we can get longevity like that from Mailata. And also, the technology and stuff is a lot better now than it used to be, but people are still getting smashed up. Still getting smashed up. But it is crazy. Jason Peters, thank you. Thank you, Murph. Having the CTE moment. could not think of his last name, man. But yeah, man, them offensive linemen, they pound a lot. And that is the thing now where a lot of players, more and more players, and I believe the numbers are going to go up, because the only way you can research CTE is if you're dead. So a lot of guys are opting for life. They're taking a shorter career. They got money in the bank. They're going to spend time with the family, go to football games and dance recitals and things of that nature, and rightfully so. Blue City Empire Sports, the New York Giants just finished interviewing Brian Flores. I think he's going to end up with New York. That's where all of the rumors are leading. So we'll see what happens. I kind of don't hope he goes there, because I don't want to deal with him twice a year. But we'll see. We'll see. Because if Brian Flores goes to New York and Deshaun Jackson ends up in New York, that is a problem. Man, that is a problem. Paula Davenport, what's up? Princeton Vikings class of 88. Yeah. Represent. But we'll see. Okay, so Brian Flores is interviewing in New York. Yeah, let me check my notes here. Ben Roethlisberger, he's done. He's officially retired. Sean Payton retired. Didn't see that one coming. Talked about that earlier. Dan Quinn stays in Dallas. I thought Dan Quinn was going to explore some options with what he did with that defense this year, but that defense was also a whole lot of Micah Parsons. So, but he's staying put. I know they're happy in Dallas. Nathaniel Hackett gets hired by the Broncos. Honestly, I hadn't even heard that name before. I know of him, but I didn't see him as a front runner for that job. So, and it looks like, excuse me, it looks like Byron Leftwich most likely is going to get the job down at the Jags. Which would be an excellent hire. If there's a perfect candidate for that job, he's it. He played in the city. The fan base knows him, respects him, and he's cut his teeth in the league. He's put in work, and he's paid his dues. So that would be a great hire. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of stuff going on, and one thing that we didn't get a chance to go over, I think I might save this for next week, but I'm gonna do some more homework on this one. The overtime rules. These overtime rules is, man, listen. I don't mind overtime. It just looks bad. It's better than it was, but I just wish every offense gets a chance to touch the ball. Personal opinion. I know there's a lot of people that think that. There's a lot of people that don't. I don't know the NFL doesn't want to change it. I don't know why. I don't know. I have to do some homework on that. There has to be some media somewhere that really gets into why the NFL does not want to change the overtime rules. They did it once for the better. Now they can make it a little bit better. If you can agree on adding an extra week, why can't you change the overtime rules? I don't think that's too much to ask. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But listen, my time is up. I had a great time talking with my buddy Ron. Carp, if you're listening, brother, I appreciate you. I love you, homie. And we're gonna do some more stuff in the future. And who they? Bengal Nation, stand up, be proud. All my homies from Cincinnati who logged into the chat, I appreciate you for coming through. Come back next week. Bring a friend. All of our alumni we chat with online and social media and all that kind of stuff. Tell them to chime in and jump in the chat. Even if you don't like sports, turn it on and go do something else. But pound that like button. Subscribe to the A2D channel and to the A2D family. I'm going to be here every Thursday at 7 p.m. bringing it to you. All right? So I appreciate the love. And I will see you guys next week. So let's see if we can get my Bengals into the playoffs. All right? You guys have a great weekend. Be safe. If you're from the Northeast, stay safe. Go get you some salt and the shovel because it's probably going to be ugly this weekend, but we'll deal with it. We know how it works. So you guys be good. Be better than yesterday, not as good as tomorrow. Peace out to all my frat brothers, A5A, and I'm out.